Hello and welcome to another Ken 7 podcast. We've got a bit of a football chat, and joining me is the absolute legend, former light welterweight and welterweight world champion and Man City fan, Ricky Hatton. Ricky, thanks
good to see you. Pleasure, no problem.
So obviously we've got a big game at the weekend. We're going to talk about football first, if you don't mind, and then we'll go and have a little chat about boxing. Big game at the weekend. Going into this season, what were your thoughts after the transfer window? Obviously, you brought Grealish in. What were you thinking going into the season?
Listen, we was always going to be in with a shout, aren't we? You know, that goes with without saying. Me personally, I mean, I'm not one of these. Well, I guess I am. I'm one of these fans that always think, you know, I turn into the manager like we all do as football fans. Oh, we should have done this, we should have done that. You can't get a better player than Grealish. It fits right into our team, which with the way Pep has us playing, with our interactive, you know, with our passing and our moving and off the ball. Grealish fits like a glove. But I just feel like, you know, we don't have a striker. And I know we won the league without a striker, but sometimes you just need that target man, don't you? That gives you another option. And I think that's the disappointment going into the league. I think it's now you've got us, Chelsea, Liverpool that are going to be in with a shout. I just thought we should have got a striker pre-season.
Would you have spent that money in a different way then? So would you have not signed Grealish and signed a striker for 100 million? Like you possibly could have got Haaland.
I think I would have done.
Yeah,
I think I would have done.
Yeah.
Because, you know, Grealish is a quality player, but he's just like any other player we've got. You know, we've got great ball players. You know, your De Bruyne and you know, Bernardo Silva, and you know, just so many great on the ball players, and he's another one which is good. But I think Chelsea last year, they beat us 3 times, and I think they sussed our way of playing out a little bit, you know. And so if that don't work, you know, you've got to change it sometimes in football, haven't you? And I just think, you know, if it's not working, you've always got a target man. We might get one in January. Might get a striker in January. I don't know who, but yeah, I just think it gives us another dimension. We know we're good on the ball. We know we can pass and move and everything like that. I think sometimes, you know, if you had a target man, we can put it on a 5p piece for him, whoever he may be.
So Lukaku was. I mean, none of the big teams have really signed a striker. Obviously, Messi is a different thing, but Lukaku went to Chelsea. Would that have been one that you would have fancied?
Yeah, I'd have had Lukaku. I don't know, but I think I'm you know, quietly hoping that we get maybe Haaland.
Yeah,
I think that would be the one.
Makes sense.
I think you'd agree with me in saying that the reason why Ronaldo's left and the reason why Messi's left, because I think the Italian league and the Spanish league, it's dying. It's not the force it was. So people, you know, strikers want to. I think strikers want to come and play in the Premiership. So let's as far as from City's point of view, let's get hold of one. You know what I mean?
No, completely. The season's just in its infancy at the moment. How do you assess the season for you?
It's too early to go. I mean, we didn't get a striker, and I thought, well, we're going to need a striker. So I was all a little bit doom and gloom, and I mean, we lost our opening game of the season, but we've not looked bad. And you know, in the Champions League, you know, last night against PSG, we were great. Didn't take our chances, but when you look at how we won the league last year, and we started, we were crap, but we still won the league. Do you know what I mean? So I mean, it's dead easy. You know, you can't read too much into the way the start of the season's gone, because it's a long season. But I think we'll be there. You know, thereabouts. I just think a striker would have helped us no end.
Just that extra 5% sort of thing.
Yeah.
I think from your City's rivals, like certainly Liverpool, Chelsea, the one thing that we all think about City is they're the team that can go on a 25-game unbeaten run. Do you know what I mean? So even though you've started, it's been a bit patchy, you've had some good performances, you've had a loss and a draw, I think, haven't you? We all have not discounted you at all. We all are still worried about City being able to put.
I think we just got a bigger squad in depth. You know, whoever you know. And the reason why he can switch the team about so much is because he's got so much squad in depth. I think what didn't help Liverpool when the you know, a couple of seasons ago was when they got an injury. they didn't have the squad City had, did they? They couldn't, they couldn't fill the replacements, if you like. Where we could have, no, forgive me for saying, we could have 4 or 5 injuries and it wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But with Liverpool, because they didn't have their bigger squad, I think that hit them hard last year.
I think last year, I mean, any team, if you'd have took your 3 main centre-backs out of your team, that would affect you, even you. Yeah. You know what I mean? I mean, you'd have thrown Fernandinho back there, but then we did that, and that pulls Fabinho out of our midfield. So it's tough. But one of the things I wanted to ask you about, and I hope you don't mind me asking, is that, Pep made some comments about the fans recently. How did you see that?
There's not too much you can say about Pep because he's the man, innit? You
know
what I mean? But you can't be having a pop at the fans. I think that's a little bit naughty. But do
you see any validity in what he said at all?
No, I see where he's coming from because I mean, God, we went to. I know it was Leipzig. We played the other night in the Champions League, and the crowd was dead. There wasn't really much happening, and you think, and me personal as a fan, you think, come on, City, how long have we tried to get in the Champions League, and now we're in the Champions League. You sat with your fat ass on the settee. Do you know what I mean? Let's get so I see where he's coming from, but I mean, you don't upset the fans. You want your fans on your side, don't you?
I get that. I mean, I kind of think he's coming from his heart's in the right place. What he's trying to say is we need, we want to use you.
Get behind us.
We want to use that energy,
and
that's. I think his heart's in the right
100%,
place.
100%. Yeah.
Completely. From outside. How do you assess Liverpool's chances this season? We've been kind of written off because we've not really signed anything.
I don't think you can written off. You're not signed anything. The thing, if I was a Liverpool fan, it's like you can probably tell me. It's like when you won the league and you get some revenue, they didn't buy no one. And if anything, Liverpool, the quality squad, they were the best. When they picked us to win the league, they were the best team. Absolutely, we can't. You got to hold your hands up and go. They were the best team. And with a small squad, they didn't have too many injuries, and they had a small squad.
We were lucky that season.
But when you won the league, you'd think, right, as a rival, you think, oh shit, they're gonna up it now. They're gonna buy, and they didn't. Yeah. And I think that's going to, hurt them ultimately. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone's better in the squads. I mean, we've only bought one player in Grealish, but I mean, if City are the team to catch with the players that they've got in depth and stuff like that, then for Liverpool to compete with us, they've got to, and they don't seem to be doing it. I don't know.
It's a theme that a lot of Liverpool fans have,
And do you think the owners are like a little bit like United's owners? Maybe I'm speaking a bit out of...
No, not at all. No, not at all.
I
wouldn't say that they're like United's owners.
Rather than getting the players...
I mean, United's owners have basically lumped a load of debt onto the club. Ours have done quite the opposite, but they're very frugal. Like, they only want to run it responsibly.
They're not spending on the team,
but they're not spending.
Yeah.
No, I completely agree. But then I think there's partly another thing which maybe someone from outside wouldn't see. Jurgen Klopp doesn't like a big squad. He likes a compact squad so that he doesn't have to let people down. And it's
I mean, again, I'm sat here like a football fan. Like we all sit on the terrace every week, don't we? You should be doing this. Should be doing this.
Yeah.
And what do I know about football? Fuck all.
Yeah.
But I think with the way the modern game is now, you've got the league, the Carabao Cup, you've got the FA Cup, you've got the the Champions League, you've got so many games. I'm not saying I know more than Klopp, but surely you need a big squad to, the games are thick and fast these days.
But he sacrifices the FA Cup and the thing every year, he just goes, just throw the kids in, and then, whereas Pepe's quite big, quite good teams, isn't he? He plays a big part in those.
And it's confidence in it. Yeah. Might be the League Cup. It might be, it's confidence boosting, confidence building for the next game. That's what it's all about. And I think it was like, God, you needed a big squad. Certainly when we went in lockdown and we were playing every 2 or 3 days, couple of days. I think you need the big squad, because I think the days of football when he's played 2 games this week, so let's give him a rest, and I think you need to do that. I think you need a bigger squad. Do you know what I mean? Because it's just the way it is.
I agree. There's a picture on the wall over there of you with Vincent Kompany and Liam Gallagher. Is that one of your best footballing memories after you won the league? And
well, that was the night. That was the time when Aguero scored the winner, and I have my season ticket, and I have a table in one of the lounges. But I was in a box for this last game. I can't remember whose box it was, and I'd given up. You know what I mean? I'd just spat my dummy out. I'd gone in the box. I'd got a bud out the fridge and sat there. I mean, fucking blew it here. And then the ball come over. Deco scored, and then within a matter of seconds, QPR were safe. They were safe from relegation, and then because Joey Barton got sent off.
Got sent off that game.
Got sent off, and the ball come up, and it was like 5 minutes, injury time. And then so I put my beer down, got out of the box. I thought, oh, hang on a minute, we might have half a chance here. And needless to say, Aguero put it in, and I was in a box, and I knew Liam was in a box round the side, and I fell on my knees. I was crying. I fell on my knees, and I just looked up, and I could just see Liam running round the box. And he jumped up and he went, "Yeah, go on, Rick." He said, "Are we going out tonight?" I went, "Fucking right, we're going." I said, right, we're going out tonight. And we come out the main entrance, and Liam had a driver there, and we come out the main entrance, and all the photographers were there. They were going, "Okay, I bet these two are going to have a good night." And it was, it was. We went to that was taken at.
That looks like the monastery.
Manchester Town Hall.
Oh, was it Town Hall?
Yeah, that's where they had a celebration reception, where the players all took the wives and that, and
you blagged in.
I took Liam.
Quality.
It was,
Top
and
man.
I think, when you look through Premiership, the history of the Premiership, the Championships, God, there will never ever be an end to a season like that, especially for us to beat them down the road, with the last
second
kick of the game.
Yeah.
And I never forget, sorry to all the Reds, but on Sky Sports News when they were all like, and then went, "You what?"
Oh.
And poor Fergie was like, "Right, come on, let's get the changing rooms." I don't think you'll ever
horrible.
I don't think it'll ever be. It can't be. It can't
be topped.
There'll never be a season like that ever.
No, I agree. Just before we move on to boxing, what do you think of the game on Sunday? What do you think the result will be?
It's listen, when City play Liverpool, or Liverpool play Chelsea, or City play Chelsea, I think they're always going to be tough games. I don't think any result will shock me, because we're all capable of beating each other on our day, and I think the fact that that'd have been upsetting for City. We beat Chelsea on Saturday, and confidence is up, and then that the midweek game, confidence is down again. But I see there being not much in it, to be honest, and let's have it right. Every time we do play Liverpool, there's not much in it.
It's tight, isn't it?
Yeah, it's gonna be tight. I think it'll be a. I mean, I'm obviously going to go with City. I just got so much quality, but if you're asking me to put my last pound on it, I'd say City, but I wouldn't. It's not by much. It's going to be nip and
a draw would be.
And I think if you're going to play Liverpool and people like the Chelsea, I'd rather play them at this early stage in the season where it doesn't matter. Because if we was like we're 4 or 5 games in, I'd rather play them 4 or 5 into the season than 4 or 5 from the end, where it's gonna make a bigger deal. But I mean, it would be nice for Liverpool fans, just to listen. They're Chelsea's probably our nearest rival. Liverpool are probably probably there. It'd be interesting to see what they're all about.
Yeah.
It's that early in the season, and I think that's the top and.
It's a big test for both sides, and I think it'd be a draw.
That's the top and bottom of it, you know.
If you're enjoying this video so far, please show your support for the Ken7 channel by clicking the subscribe button, the like button, and also clicking the bell for future notifications. If you could also share the video on your Twitter and Facebook account, that will show YouTube's algorithm that you like our content. Do you know about Ken7 merchandise? The link is in the description of this video. We have premium fanwear for fans covering Liverpool, Celtic and Scotland, and it's fanwear for young and old, so we have t-shirts, hoodies, sweatshirts, caps, mugs, you name it, we've got it. Just something else to remember, every purchase that is made on our website, we donate to the Marina Dalglish Appeal. So you're helping a great cause as well.
Yeah, totally. So just moving on to boxing, I spoke to a few people who are massively into boxing, my family, and my godson's actually a professional boxer. A lot of them wanted to know why you started boxing, what inspired you to get into boxing?
Well, it's normally something that is passed through down the family tree, innit? You know, either your dad's done it or your granddad or anything like that, but nobody in my family had ever done boxing. It was mainly a football family. My dad played for Manchester City in the reserves, you know, in the years of Franny Lee, you know, Bowley and Summerby. And he played in the reserves, so I mean, to play in the reserves back then was a fantastic achievement. But I was actually at the Man City School of Excellence, you know, from 13, for a couple of years, 13, 14 years of age. So everyone expected me to go down the football route, bearing in mind that no one from the family had ever done it. But I don't know, there was just something in me. The first time I went to the gym and someone cracked me on the chin, you know, where most people go, oh, I tried boxing, I got hit, oh, I didn't like it. I fucking loved it. you know, and I thought, oh, that's it for me. And I love the fact that even at a very young age, you know, where if you'd had a bad spar, I love the fact that you'd have to go home and you think about it and get your game plan together and go. And it's a very addictive sport, boxing. You either like it or you don't like it. But yeah, very strange where it come from. Nobody in the family had previously done it. I actually did kickboxing before I did boxing, because I was into all the Bruce Lee films, but because I've always been a little short ass, my legs weren't that long, so I was no good at the kicking, but you could see I had a talent with me fists. And the kickboxing coach said to me, he said, listen, Ricky, you know what I mean, with you being too short and stocky, you know, kickboxing might not be the game for you, but you've got a talent with your fists, why don't you go over the road and give the boxing a try? And it basically started from there, yeah.
Was there a boxer that you looked up to, that you, at the time, you admired, that made you want to be like?
Nigel Benn.
Right.
Yeah, Nigel Benn, he was my hero at the time, because he was the one that was on the TV. Massively exciting, always went for the knockout. So Nigel Benn was probably my first boxing hero. And then as I went, I got more and more into the sport, and I started watching videos of fighters of old. And I think my favourite fighter of all time was Roberto Duran. And I had so many good times with Roberto Duran, you know, and you think, you know, he's your hero, and now he's my mate a little bit. You know, we're not on speed dial every week, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
A couple of the times I've had with him has been, oh my God, an absolute dream. But I've always, you know, I'm an admirer of all styles of boxing, but it was always the people that give value for money, you know, where their hearts on. You know, Nigel Benn. Do you know what I mean? How can you not be a fan of Nigel Benn when you used to see him fight? And Roberto Duran, Julio Cesar Chavez, and Mike Tyson when he first won the title as a 20-year-old. God, gee,
It was unbelievable, wasn't it?
Imagine finding him in bed with your missus. You took him in, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the last joke I would
But
tell.
would Duran be the best pound-for-pound boxer that you've
He
seen?
was my favourite pound for pound, and he was in an era, probably the biggest era that we've ever had. You know, to have like Sugar Ray Leonard, Thomas Hearns, Marvin Hagler, Roberto Duran, all in the same era. I don't think that era will ever be topped. But I just I just like a bit of what he stand for. He was a man of his people. You know, at the time, you know, Panama was in problems with, not problems, but, you know, with the United States. They were trying to keep the Panama
Noriega and all that, yeah.
All that thing going on, and he stayed loyal to his, he was always proud of his fans. He always took on the best. He was up in weight, down in weight, and, you know, Roberto John will probably be remembered as the greatest lightweight that ever lived. But when you think, lightweight's 9 stone 9, you know, middleweight, which is where he competed with Leonard and Hagler, and is 11 stone 6. Do you know what I mean?
Big difference.
He was a lot smaller man than Tommy Hearns, and Marvin Hagler, than Sugar Ray Leonard, but he was able to still compete with him. I mean, when he first won the title against Ken Buchanan, you know, he was that big, really small, years earlier. And he still was able to mix it and compete with the likes of Leonard, Hagler, Hearns. That's why he was my favourite, just stylistically and just what he stood for his people. That's why I loved him, yeah.
I've got you at an interesting time because we're sandwiched in between two big fights. So we just had AJ fighting Usyk at the weekend, and we've got Tyson Fury and Wilder on Saturday. What did you think of the fight, the AJ fight?
Well, I think the AJ fight, I think that nothing would have surprised us in the outcome. I mean, AJ was capable of outboxing Usyk. Usyk was capable of outboxing AJ. I think because of his size, AJ was certainly capable of knocking out Usyk, and because AJ's been a little bit weak on or looked a little bit weak on the chin at times, I think Usyk was capable of. So it wasn't quite, anything could have happened on the night, but I don't think we expected it to be so one-sided as it was. Do you know what I mean? And for Usyk to, you know, with people that are, you know, like your Frank Brunos and like your AJ, that are very big upper body and everything like that, they need to set themselves in order to punch, don't they? And Usyk was never stood in front of him for 1 minute. You know, AJ had to keep setting himself, and for a big fella, that is difficult to do. But I don't think we can blame. We can't. I'd rather than say AJ didn't do this, didn't do that. I think that would be unfair to AJ. I think we just got to take it off to Usyk and say that was a masterclass, an absolute masterclass. Yeah. Did
you read too much? There's a few people commented I've seen about the ring walk, AJ's ring walk. He looked a bit like he wasn't focused. What do you think about that?
It's hard to say. They said a lot before the. They said a lot before the Ruiz fight, didn't they? They said his head didn't look right and he didn't look quite on it. And I don't know. I just listen. Everyone, you know, prepares in a different way. And listen, when you see what AJ has achieved in boxing, it goes without saying he's got a wonderful team behind me. But I only look from my point of view. I used to like Billy Graham, Kerry Kays, my trainer, my nutritionist, and my cutsman in the corner. And I was looking at AJ's corner. It looked like organised fucking chaos. There must have been about 6 or 7 heads in the corner, all shouting shit at him.
Right.
One. I don't know if that, you know, because obviously it's worked for him in the past. Whatever he's done, he's done a good job. He's done the country massively proud. But I don't know. You can always, if it had knocked him out in 2 rounds, we wouldn't have been talking about the ring.
Exactly.
Would we? You know what I mean? But it's always you try and pick things. Why did this happen? Why did that happen? I just think we've got to give credit to Usyk.
Brilliant. Just one of those things that I was thinking was he was underweight, wasn't he, AJ? He's normally
he trimmed down a little bit. He trimmed down a little bit, no. But I mean, I think Usyk is a lot cleverer than what we give him credit for. He when his fight with David Chisora and all that, and I'm convinced he didn't show. He looked slower.
Right.
As he put the weight on and moved up into the heavyweight division, he looked slower, and I think he did it purposely because there was nothing slow about him on Saturday night, was there? But in his previous 2 fights, he did look slower, and I think AJ trimmed down to so AJ could give himself a little bit of speed to try and, you know, if he's looked slow because he's bulked up, you know, AJ trimmed down for that little bit of speed, but I think he's a lot cleverer than what we think. I think purposely he might have, you know, he took the brakes off purposely so he, you know, he could get the fight, you know what I mean? And then, and I think in that last round, if you remember in the last round, he shook him up near the end, didn't he?
If it had carried on, and there's every chance he'd have been knocked out.
I think he could have done that maybe 2 or 3 rounds earlier, and maybe no disrespect to AJ, I love AJ, but no disrespect to him, he could have maybe done that 2 or 3 rounds earlier. And I think he's clever. He's thinking, you know what? I mean, I've won this, but if there's going to be a rematch, I'm just letting AJ know in that last round. Listen, you've not seen the best of me. Look what I've got in the tank still. Yeah. And I think that's what it was. You know, to be honest, if AJ's watching that fight, thinking, Jesus Christ, you know what I mean? He could have maybe put his foot on the gas 3 or 4 rounds earlier, but he just give him a little taste in the last round and go, hey, you've not seen the best of me yet, which, bearing in mind how good AJ is a scary thought, isn't it?
Well, let me pick you up on something you just said there. So you just said, obviously, there's going to be a rematch, isn't there? Because it's in the contract. What do you think about...
You'd think so, but I think rematches are fucking
killing boxing. This is what I was going to ask you.
They're killing boxing,
what do you think about that being in the contract?
Clauses, that's why AJ and Tyson... it's probably not happened in the first place. I mean, you know, listen, it's a dangerous fight for Tyson still, and even though he beat him up quite, you know, convincingly in the last fight, Wilder can hit. But I mean, is
it a fight you want to watch?
I watch it because it's my mate.
Exactly,
my mate fighting. But I mean, I don't know what the fuck we're watching that for again. To be honest with you, you know, there should be a rematch clause in, and it should be depending on your previous performance. He walked through him.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
So why has he got a fucking rematch?
Yeah, no, I'm with you,
You don't want to watch a rematch of someone who's just beat someone up. Do you know what I mean? And I think sometimes you don't know what's in the contract. You don't know what AJ's got in the contract. I've got an immediate rematch with Usyk, and then, you know, and then Usyk, say he beats AJ, or AJ beats Usyk, then Usyk might have a rematch clause. And say Wilder beats Tyson, which you don't think so, then fucking Tyson might have a rematch clause, and before you know it, it's just...
Where does it come from? Is it people, the army of people around the two fighters thinking, well, we've now got guaranteed income for 3 fights? Is that how it works?
I think that's exactly what it is.
Which is counterproductive to what we want. We want to see
exactly
fights.
What it is. But you know, and I think if you're going to have a rematch clause, because they're hedging the bets, and then you know, promoters are working so hard in order to get the fight on. All right, you can have your fight, but we want this, and I think they think, oh, let's just get the fight signed, and then, you know, but you don't realise the avalanche what happens after, which is headache. Because ultimately, I mean, AJ's got. We want Tyson and AJ, don't we? AJ just got beat. Usyk has just got beat. So we've lost the only fight we was really asked about, wasn't it?
Well, I mean, I now want to see Fury Usyk. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, in an ideal world, you know, you'd say, right, you know, we wanted Tyson and AJ. Now Usyk has beat AJ. Right, let Tyson box Usyk, and if he beats Usyk, then let AJ have a crack at redeeming himself. Yeah. It's night and day, innit? That's the obvious thing, you know. You do, but it's like, you know, I think the boxing world is I think it's nowhere near what it was. I mean, a few years ago, we used to complain, didn't we, that there was too many weight divisions, there was too many belts. What have you got now? You've got world champion, interim world champion, title fights made out of catch weight, you know. Catch weight, catch sports, MMA fighting YouTubers. The best pound for pound fighter in the world fighting a fucking YouTuber. Oh, for God's sake! You know, years ago we just had to worry about how many belts there was.
Yeah.
You know, now, Melly, if you've got 72 million followers, give them a pair of boxing gloves and fucking sell it for millions. It's bollocks. And I think I think that's we've. What happened to the best fought the best, and and it's but now it's rematch clauses and mixed sports and mixed this. I think the entertainment, it was disgraceful. that Evander Holyfield got knocked out, a few weeks ago. How is this being allowed to happen? And I think that the morals of boxing is being swapped for the pound, for the entertainment.
It's always been big money, but they're now thinking of creative ways.
Entertainment seems more not important now than the actual morals of the game.
Going back to the Fury Wilder fight. I mean, you're mates with Tyson, obviously. How does he get himself up for that fight? Because he's already proven himself. Wilder's the one who wants to prove himself.
Well, I think I thought he won the first fight. He got a draw.
He won the first fight. Yeah.
But then he beat him up in the second fight. But I mean, Tyson's a professional, and ultimately, he knows what Wilder did to him in that first fight. You know what I mean? He knocked him down. Wilder can hit. He's not probably one of the greatest heavyweights of all time. Far from it. But as far as power punching, goes, knockout, brutal power, he probably is one of the hardest punchers in heavyweight history. And that's what Tyson, knowing Tyson like I do, that's what Tyson will have in his mind. I know I beat you up last time, but I still know you can hit. And we all know when heavyweights hit you on the chin, anything can happen. But I think Tyson has left. I think I can't see how Wilder can mentally come back and win that fight. I know when I got beat by Manny Pacquiao, because I was Ricky Hatton, I was a bully one year, I was strong. I'd like to think I was a little bit of an hard man of boxing, if you like. And then when I got knocked out by Manny Pacquiao in 2 rounds, I never thought anyone would destroy me like that. And my head, as everyone knows, my head fell off, you know what I mean? I really, really struggled with coming to terms with it, because 1 minute I'm bashing everybody, and then all of a sudden I get knocked out in 2 rounds. It was very hard for me to take on board and cope with, and I think it will be the same with Wilder. Don't forget, Wilder's just blasting through everybody, then all of a sudden Tyson just goes and absolutely beats him up. And I think that's a mental scar that... I think if Tyson gets off to a good start, I think he'll crumble, Wilder.
Interesting. I mean, that's you've just related it to yourself with Pacquiao. You must have felt infallible until that moment, and for you to deal with the fact that
it was very hard
going into that fight. Sorry, I mean, you don't have to answer this if you don't want. But was the training camp okay? And did you?
No, the training camp was crap.
Was it?
And I'm not using it as an excuse. Everyone's always got an excuse why you got beat. But I mean, I thought for Mayweather the referee wasn't the best, and I'd like to think most fight fans would agree with that. I'm not saying I'd have won anyway. But by the time I fought Pacquiao, I had a lot of miles on the clock. My best days were maybe a little bit behind me, because I've obviously, I've been in a lot of hard fights and burnt the candle both ends. Never really looked after myself as like I should have done. But no, the training camp was terrible. I mean, for Floyd Mayweather Senior, when I fought Manny Pacquiao, he did 6 weeks training camp with me, and He trained me into the ground. He was sparring Monday, sparring Tuesday, sparring Wednesday, sparring Thursday. Where Billy Graham used to let you have an hard day and then let you have a day, let your body recover a little bit, then have another hard day, and that. Where Floyd was like that. And I got away with it for the Malignaggi fight. I thought, he's trying to kill me here, Floyd. What's he trying to do? And I got away with it. But then for the Pacquiao fight, instead of doing 6 weeks like I did for Malignaggi, I did 9 weeks, and I think it was that extra 3 weeks that really killed me. And I wish I'd have opened my mouth and gone, Floyd, I've done enough 12 rounders. I can do 12 rounders in my sleep. I know how to do 12 rounders, but you're killing me. If you don't let me have a couple of days ease off here, you're gonna burn me out. And with all the experience that I have, I wish I'd have opened my mouth and said, listen, Floyd, no, I'm having a couple of days off here. And also, Manny Pacquiao was a southpaw, and he couldn't do southpaw pads. And any boxer will tell you, your pad work is preparation for your sparring, and your sparring is preparation for the fight. That's how it works. But to be doing orthodox pad work when you're fighting someone who's a southpaw, So even though I'm not making excuses, I've just thrown a couple of whoppers.
No, it's interesting.
But that's me. But that's no, it wasn't. And I'm not saying I'd have won the fight if I'd have had southpaw pads. I'm not saying I'd have won the fight if I'd have had a couple of days off here and there. Because Manny Pacquiao was blasting everyone away at the time.
Tell me, on the day of the fight, did you, all this stuff, was that going on in your head, or did you feel in tip-top condition when you went?
No. I was walking to the ring thinking, I just hope I get him with a left hook to the body early on, and it's all over here and that, because I could tell in the last 2 weeks, sparring partners, I was knocking the shit out of 3 or 4 weeks earlier. I couldn't lay a glove on him coming down the home straight, which, so I'm walking into the ring, I think, God, I couldn't lay a glove on them sparring partners. What am I going to do with fucking Manny Pacquiao here? Do you know what I mean? And my head was absolutely gone, and you could see in the fight I was a little bit reckless, and everything like that. And I think I knew I'd already lost the fight before I got in the ring. Yeah.
Interesting. Well, listen, I've loved it. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
What's the score going to be on Sunday?
Listen, it's always going to be a nip and tuck game, innit? City, Liverpool, City, Chelsea, them. I think they're the main three that are going to be going for the title.
Not United, no.
I don't think, no, they won't be there, no. But I don't, I think I'd be happy with any win. I think I'd go for a 2-1 or a 3-2.
Thought you would say
I think maybe 3-2, because I think there could be goals in it. Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, listen, thanks very much. I really appreciate your time. If you're watching us on YouTube, don't forget to give us a little subscribe, click the like button, and comment if you've got any questions. Thanks very much, Ricky. Appreciate it. Cheers.